the current event right now is there's been some debate on the current college football playoffs. I'm putting up this bracket because that is the current. This is before, again, I'm recording this the day before the conference championship games. And right now, as it stands, this is the new format of the 12-team playoffs. All right, we have Oregon number 1, Texas number 2, SMU number 3, Boise State at number 4, which I'm gonna dive into in a second. Then we have Penn State number 5. Penn State number 5. Now keep in mind, Penn State and Oregon are playing tomorrow for the Big Ten championship. You have Notre Dame number 6. You have Georgia number 7, who I've been on record saying that I believe Georgia is going to be the national champions this year. You have Ohio State number 8, Tennessee number 9, and it was Tennessee 9, Indiana 10, Alabama 11, and then Arizona State 12. So I'll just say it now. I don't have an issue with it. I have no issue at all with the 12-team playoffs and how it turned out. All right. Now, granted, a little biased. You see, I'm a Michigan fan, and when I'm not rooting for Michigan, I'm actually rooting for Florida State. And neither one of them teams, I don't have a horse in the race this year. Both of those teams last year went undefeated this time of year, and again, that's just kind of the way it works. Everybody has their year, right? But in regards to the argument that I've been hearing in terms of how the 12-team playoff system is not really bringing out the best or it's not fair, because most of the people who are arguing against it, they're basically saying that this Boise State thing is ridiculous, that SMU, because they play in a weaker conference like the ACC, they don't deserve to be in it, and it could very well happen that Clemson goes and beats SMU tomorrow, and then that knocks them out the playoffs, and then you have a couple teams like Arizona State, who, again, they can lose this week. I can't remember who they're playing in the Pac-12, but then you have this Boise State that gets a first-round bye. So, yes, I can see the argument from some people who may think, okay, you get inferior teams that don't play in strong conferences and all that kind of stuff, and they're in, and you get teams like Alabama, Ohio State, Tennessee, Penn State, Indiana, Georgia, teams that play for Power 4 conferences are playing for conferences that are known, and they have losses on their resume, 2 losses on their resume, whatever it is, and they're still in. How they're saying, oh, well, they shouldn't be in. Like, I've heard some people make the argument that Ohio State shouldn't be in, and that Alabama shouldn't be in, and Notre Dame shouldn't be in, which I disagree with. I think that this particular system is so much better than a 4-team playoff system. I was an advocate maybe for 6 or 8 teams, maybe 12 might be overdoing it, but I think it's better to have it like this, particularly because of what happened last year. Again, a diehard Michigan fan, but my ideal situation, what I would have loved to see Florida State and Michigan get into the playoffs, and Michigan goes, Michigan did go undefeated, but Florida State also went undefeated. However, because they were playing in a weaker conference and they lost their quarterback, the committee said, oh, well, Alabama's the better team, and they go and put Alabama in, and they kick Georgia completely out. When that happened last year, I knew at that point you have to go to more teams. There's no way it can only work with 4 teams, because both Georgia and Florida State deserve to be in the college football playoffs last year. All right. Now, as someone who was paying attention to the situation, I was kind of some of the fan in me was rooting for Florida State, and I felt a little bad for Florida State until they go in the Orange Bowl and they get their ass kicked by Georgia, completely debunking this myth and making it seem like the SEC invented football and everything that you tried to do with more playoff teams